Hotel Architect 1.0 has officially come out. It has been in early access for some time, but it is officially full release out to the public, and anyone can get it. It's available on Steam, and if you love Tycoon or city management games, you definitely probably had your eye on it, probably a bit curious about it, and you're probably curious about three main things that we're going to talk about today. One, what is it really about? Two, is it any fun? And three, is it worth that price tag? Yeah, we're about to talk about it, and it's going to be a brutally honest review. I put in quite a few hours. Let's talk about it. So first off, Hotel Architect has finally come out. It's been developed by Pathos Interactive. It was published by both Wired Productions and Gamer Sky Games. And I have to have a big shout out to them because they did send me the key right before the early access was over. They gave me the full game a little bit early. I got to play a little bit, but I already made the video showing some of the gameplay. We looked at the campaign, we looked at a little bit of the sandbox, and that was really all they asked me to do. But instead, now that that is out of the way, again, I thank you, but now we can give the brutally honest review, unfiltered based on my experience. Now, this game came out only May 14th, 2026. As of this recording, it's only May 22nd, and I'm going to tell you shamefully and honestly that I've already got about 25 hours worth of gameplay into this, and it's addicting. So what is this game? Well, basically you step into the shoes of a hotel owner, and you're going to design, you're going to build, and you're going to manage grand hotels around the world. You're basically juggling demands from guests, frantic logistics, and plenty of unexpected surprises. This is claiming to be the ultimate hotel construction and tycoon management game, which is a very big claim considering the fact of how many tycoon and management games there are as of right now. And they might not be wrong. This game is not perfect, but it does provide a lot of things I really was not expecting. And we're going to start right at the beginning. Essentially, you get thrown into this campaign. Now, when you're going into a campaign, you'll get a bunch of options. You're typically going to be forced to start at the very beginning, which I believe begins in a small town in Sweden. Now, they call it a campaign, but essentially the first few levels is just a tutorial. It's just a tutorial. Now, mind you, it may be the best tutorial I have ever seen in a tycoon game up to date. Sincerely, the best. The way that the little pawn who runs the campaigns and gives you the objective tells the story, and the way she talks you through things is truly fantastic. And the objectives are very clear, easy to get to, without hindering your creativity, especially once you get past the second level, where you truly get to unlock a lot of freedom. And you may be asking yourself, what's the point in a campaign in a game where I can just build and supposed to be able to do whatever I want? And you are correct. And I will tell you what the point of this campaign is. As you complete objectives in the campaign, you unlock some pretty cool stuff. For example, once you're in Vegas, you'll unlock the casino, which adds a whole new layer to things you could do. Once you're in New York or London, you unlock the stocks, which definitely changes how you can manage some financial decisions. And along with other decorative things, which is probably what most people care about, you unlock new carpets, you unlock new things to look at, you unlock new wall paintings, you get rewards basically everywhere that is essentially either for money, for building, or for customization. And in a tycoon building game, what more could you ask for? I know that's kind of a contradicting question because there's always more to ask for. Me personally, I wish we had more wallpapers and more floors to choose from. And that's not saying there's a lacking. Now, you know, we have probably over 20 of each. I didn't count them, but obviously there are quite a lot here. I still wish there was more. And of course, the game just came out. I also have sneak peeked at some of the Halloween packs, the Christmas packs, and the Chinese New Year packs, which were all very well put together. And it gives me a bright hope that in the future, they will also maybe consider DLC content or more packs to come out in the future, which I would be more than happy to get my hands on. And based on how creators are reacting to the gameplay, I don't think I am alone in that. Currently, within the reviews, it remains very positive, and we are looking at almost 1,500 reviews on Steam, which means that Hotel Architect is achieving their goal that they put in the game, but in real life. Now, what do I mean by that? Because in the game, the way you progress through the systems and basically level up is by impressing critics. And the critics on Steam are very positive. Essentially, without giving away any more spoilers to the campaign and what you might find there, you are going to go in to a hotel. Basically, it's going to be nothing. If you're doing sandbox mode or even some of the campaign levels, you start with just a solid layer of gravel, and you are going to build upon that. Now, when you build upon that, you are going to decide what you're going to do. Are you going to make a classy hotel? Are you going to make a haunted hotel? Are you going to make the worst hotel imaginable? Are you going to be for business people, for sunbathers, for spoiled rich kids? Yes, these are things you got to think about, and you can do them all. But when you start out, you're going to be doing it mainly for the backpackers, which touches my heart because in real life, I am a backpacker. And I prefer to travel very lightly, and it doesn't take a lot to get me into a hotel. As I mentioned in the video where we were looking at the sandbox. Backpackers don't take much. They just need a room. They need the basic bathrooms. It doesn't have to be all that comfy, all that cozy. You can put them on a concrete floor and they're not going to complain. Their entertainment is minimal, but they're not going to pay nearly as much as the next tier, which is going to be like the sports fans. And the sport fans, they're going to want TV. They're going to want a full gym. They're going to want to have activities to do, but they're not nearly as demanding as like, business people who might want a mini fridge in there. They might want a conference room. They're going to need to definitely have something to iron their clothes when they get in the hotel room. Because why do you go on a business trip to iron? Can't you pay for that? They can't, but they can pay for your room, and they're going to pay a lot more than the backpackers will. And after you get through them, you're going to get some of daddy's spoiled rich kids, and they're going to pull up in their Lambos. But they're going to want a lot more to do. They're going to want to go sunbathing. They're going to want to dance for it. They're going to want a full service bar and a fancy restaurant. And they're going to want fancy dishes in the fancy restaurant. And they're not going to accept the soda that you had before. They're not going to accept the little salad and spaghetti and meatballs like before. They want oysters. They want fancy salads that you never thought of before. And that doesn't even cut it when it comes to the upper crust, okay? When they come in, you need to have the red carpet simulators. You need to have golf simulators. You need to make sure that they have a full-in spa. You need to make sure they have a bellhop service with room service, of course. Who doesn't want room service? They demand it. And you're going to have to get up to 5 stars. So make sure you're impressing the critics, okay? That's just the start. That's the start of your guests. And depending on what kind of guest you want to cater to or what kind of hotel you're planning on running, makes a big difference. Now, I've seen some people doing like what we used to do in The Sims. If you know, you know. You just put them in a little square box or drown them in a pool, and let them urinate and feces on themselves, and then eventually they'll die. You can do that. You can do that. They're gonna haunt you, though. They're gonna haunt you. And when you get haunted, it's not good for other guests. Unlike real life, haunted hotels really don't seem to be doing the thing here. Haunted hotels scare away guests. Real life, they sometimes attract guests. So I don't know. Can we get like a thing worked out there? Because I can see both sides of things. If someone from Pathos is watching, can we talk about it? Because it would be interesting to have a sincerely haunted hotel for the purpose of attracting people, like a famous haunt. Anyways, moving on. The most important thing to remember is that once you start accommodating a specific type of guest, the other type of guests are probably going to go somewhere else. They're going to give their money. You're going to outprice the backpackers and the sports people once you hit the brats or the business people. And once you hit the upper crust, there's a good chance that you're probably going to outmax those people too. You can have some levels to it. You can have some levels, and it's all going to be based on your room quality, and that is completely up to you. There is no limits there. There's limits that you have to meet, requirements to get certain people, but there is no requirement for what you actually provide, as long as it's within your budget. And you can get loans from almost anywhere. Local mafias, banks, any kind of criminal you can think of, honestly. And you got to treat staff good, because if you don't, they will walk out on you. Now, this isn't like an infinite boss simulator. This is where the management comes in. You have staff, they do their job. Bellhop will bellhop, receptionists will receptionize and scan passports and all those things. Your cleaners will hopefully clean up trash and change the sheets and all these things, as long as they have the resources and a big enough room. You know, if they don't have enough racks or enough racks, they won't do their job. In fact, they might just straight up walk out on you. In which case, you could retaliate by taking away all the air conditioning and so forth, and to the point where they're just so miserable that they die on the job. But again, you'll be haunted. You'll be haunted, and you'll be cursed. And then they'll probably still come after your wallet. So the creativity is pretty much limitless. We are bound based on what these people like. And that way, I love the tiers. At the same time, one of the biggest negatives is the tiers, because me personally, I want to be able to have a little bit of everything, right? I want to have a little bit of all those people, so that the things I'm buying and I'm upgrading doesn't like crash. But the fact that I can't put a backpacker in a premium luxury room, I have an itch that can't get scratched that way. You know what I mean? Like, why are we shoving them out? But It's all depending how you play the game, and that does add a little bit of a challenge to it. I also love the fact that after you complete a scenario, you unlock the ability to free play on these places. So if you actually want to build in Sweden, or if you want to play in Greece or New York or Las Vegas or the Black Forest in Germany, once you complete their scenario, you can actually do that. Not until then, but after you can. And I appreciate that the scenario or those campaigns are actually probably the best tutorial ever seen in a Tycoon game, on my personal opinion. I also love striving for the rewards that we can unlock things. Now, you can actually customize pawns, and that is one of the rewards you get. You can customize your own pawn that you'll see in the world somewhere. I don't personally vibe with that. I don't think I even fully completed mine yet, to be honest. I can't give a full review because it was so unnecessary to me that I didn't do it. But that is a possibility if you really like that customization option. You can create your own character that you'll see in game. That's not you, but you'll see it. Now, you're probably thinking, and already probably went and searched on the Steam page to see exactly how much are you going to have to pay for this absolutely amazing experience. And let me tell you, when it's not discounted currently, it is sitting at 255,000 Indonesian rupiah, which is the currency that I am based out of today. But as a former American for the USD, you can find it for just under $30. That's a bit steep. That's a bit steep. Now, considering what I've played, if I had given $30, I've already paid about $1 an hour, and that's not too bad. This is a very addicting game. Considering that it's just come out, we don't know how it'll look in the future, but when it was in early access, you could frequently find it discounted between $15 and $23, which is a much better price, in my opinion, for a game like this. In fact, to be honest, this might be one of the most expensive Tycoon management games on the market right now. So to answer the final question, honestly, is it worth the price? Well, it kind of depends how beloved you feel about these type of games. Now, if you're like me and you've already, you know you're gonna put the hours in, and this is the type of game that you're just gonna fall in love with, yeah, that's worth the price. But for a casual player, perhaps you might want to check out the discount, since it does go on sale very, very frequently, according to its Steam history. And, you know, those discounts aren't too bad. Those are the prices I would have originally thought the game would have come out on. Me personally, I would have thought it would have been about $15, $20. The $30 kind of surprised me a little bit. But, again, this game has been highly, very addicting, and this is not sponsored in any way, so this is a brutally honest review with no fluff. If you don't like the price that it is now, put it on your wish list, follow it, and get notified when it does go on sale. And if you just can't wait, add it to your cart now, I guess. If you want to, I don't get paid for this. And to be honest, I'll probably be playing it anyways. Now, that's not to say the game is perfect. I know I have maybe hyped it a bit to my liking, but that's just because the amount of torture you can put these guys through, these little pawns, or the amount of achievements you can overcome when you're actually doing the things you want to do, based on the campaigns and unlocking things. That's how I want to play. Some people just want pure chaos, and that's perfectly fine too. So it fits a variety of players. Now, this game is far from perfection. I hope we see more stuff added on in the future. I hope we get more content in the future, whether that's through updates or through added promotions in the future of some kind, even if it's a DLC of sorts. I would really hope to see that, because this is the type of game that I think would benefit greatly from it. Even if they were, again, just some future additional packs that we might get access to. I also don't like that in a lot of ways it forces you to a certain standard in order to keep going up or to survive financially, because again, I would like to experiment and do more with some of the lower classes mixing with the higher classes. I would like for the pawns themselves to have some interaction between the classes. You know, the brats should be bratty amongst the poors, but you know, maybe get a little snobbed up by the rich. You know, I'd love to see some of that interclass mingling in a hilarious way. And the game just does not feel like it has that right now. And of course, always more customization options would definitely suit everyone's fancy in general. I know we have a lot already, but people always want more. I always want more. Enough is never enough. And if we could even have a setting that would be able to adjust the critic who comes every 2 days, unless you make a big improvement, then you can have her come instantly. But because the critic comes every 2 days, even when you're no longer trying to raise yourself and you're at your happy medium, is there a way that we can turn it off? Like, that would be cool too. So the game still is far from perfect and has a lot of things to look forward to, has a lot of things that we can hope to see in the future. And we kind of just got to ride it out, see what actually happens. But overall, that has been my experience with the game, and I have had way more positive influence of it than negative. And that's after just over 25 hours of gameplay for myself. Personally, I have pretty much beat the campaign. I have done a couple different sandboxes in my own private time, including the videos that we have put it on our channel as well. And again, this was absolutely in no way sponsored for this video, but it was my brutally honest review. And if you liked it, give it a like. If you dislike it, dislike. If you love it, subscribe. We go and live stream games every single day, 7 p.m. Jakarta time, except Tuesday, Thursday. And we also, in between our playing games that haven't been released yet, we'll play games like this and give you the full, honest review. We also upload mostly reviews daily, as well as some gameplay footage. Now, with that being said, please comment down below. It really helps the algorithm. Let me know how these videos are doing. And most of all, let me know what you think of the games that we are playing here on the channel. What are your thoughts of your experience so far with Hotel Architect?
Disconnected.